widzowie, jeszcze was zapraszam na mój kanał na Twitchu, na Aspas13, tam będą codziennie, są praktycznie streamy z różnych gierek, zapraszam was, zostawcie obserwacje, wbijamy 50 obserwacji, żeby mieć Twitch partnera, no.
Who is it?
I mean, that was Ray's.
But which one was the broadcast?
Yeah, also we, like, gave everyone's name at the bottom, so
So it's going to be the first one.
I guess. Did that not have a name?
Elimination didn't have a name.
Who drew it?
Can we pull up the first one again?
Who drew, let's see, do you think some talent drew this one? Dan Dryad. Okay, all right, we have Dan Dryad for Ender. Go to the next one. Want to see, all right, talent draw this one? No, because it's their signs.
I think, yeah, it's got to be the first one at the time.
We metagamed this. I can tell you right now that you're wrong.
What?
So we've been lied.
Show the killjoy yet again.
The
If you don't
killjoy?
mind.
The killjoy?
Someone like forgot they had to draw this for the segment.
It's a lot more dramatic in my mind, and then I was really hoping. There it is. Okay, so
Vikali.
a member of our team
Who is
drew
Vikali?
this one. I'll
What
give
if
you a
it's
hint.
Van Silly?
She is working today.
Anna Donlan.
Anna Donlan. No, it's not her. It's Liz. Liz drew that one. Liz drew that one. Yeah.
Liz?
There you have it.
Liz, you got to work
Stick
on
to your
that.
dick.
Now, before we start the day, we want to let everyone know that we put our prints up. We're not showing them quite yet, but we will in a little bit. And whoever doesn't get it is going to have to take a shot of this bad boy right here. So let's see how the chips fall on this one, baby, because it's now time to start the playoffs. Day 3 starts right now.
Esse ano.
Um jogo que vale bastante coisa pra gente, Masters e tudo. Cara, a Cru tá jogando.
Już to komentować na już tak przedstawię nam to do tego, że po to, by nie wywalili za prawa autorskie, nie?
Siento que la serie que jugamos contra ellos no lo hicimos bien, siendo que Aspas brilló mucho contra nosotros y la verdad fue que punichó nuestros errores y eso afectó el resultado.
Znikali, żeby było widać, co mówią.
Mais 46, então com certeza a gente vai ajudar ele nesse jogo. Vai ser um
Się
jogo mais
podróbmy
tranquilo pra ele.
streamku, nie? Że kolejny streamek będzie z takie rzeczy, jaką jest czy nie jutro, jak powinien się wystąpić także okej, Valorant to nie? I rutynka. I wtedy będziemy się widzieć, nie? No.
Acho que eles estão evoluindo bastante, mas a gente veio aqui pra acabar com isso.
Riot Games Arena, it's time to send our first team to Masters Toronto. Que se escuche la alegría que llega Kruvisa!
Visa coming into this one with a lot of hype. It's been a good start to the season for Crew, which is a thing that we're not used to saying, you know, but now here we are. This is a whole new Crew, and on top of that, they are looking like absolute beasts.
And it's a crew that's contending for more than just a late season pop-off to get to champions. If they win
widać, żeby wyprawał ten punkt pilnie.
in 2022, that the team could qualify to.
It's a massive, not just the org as well, but I think revenge for all of these players as well.
Już na przykład widzowie, jak nie uda mi się ogarnąć to, jak się mówi przed odcinkami, gdzie to było, to mówię teraz, że teraz w tym momencie na streamie podajcie nowego Twitcha na WchatParty13, będzie w opisie raczej i jeszcze staram się wpiąć go gdzieś w rogu lewym albo na środku, żebyście widzieli i później nie widzieli. Dlatego wpadajcie. Zobaczmy codziennie praktycznie. Ale no to są przebieg. Ja mam żeby na głowie.
Well, they got the hot seat. They seem to, everything seems to be clicking and working for them, Mimi.
There's a lot of questions. Aspas, one of the game's greatest players, joining America's worst team of 2024. But the new additions, the star player joining, it is all paid off. And now they have their chance to make their first global and qualify to it as a team.
And think of the position Verno is in as well, right? Like, just at the start of this year, completely different story for him over with NRG, comes over to MIBR after kickoff. Now he is one series away from going to that first global.
And you have two players in the argument for Rookie of the Year already with Verno and Cortezia. Those two have been outstanding in their debut year.
Indeed they have. Now let's see where we're playing at. It's going to be Lotus and an Icebox, and if necessary, we'll take a trip over to Ascent.
Dude, it's a strange map pool overall. But listen, you got maps that both of these teams have not been looking too hot on, generally speaking, as well. We start with Lotus. I'm excited to see Icebox in the middle of the pool, which you're never going to get those words out of my mouth ever again. But with the way that these two teams played as well, they are top teams on that map, and I think that's going to be a really interesting clash when we get to the middle portion. It all lies out here, and I mean, the pressure is on.
To me, Icebox is the deciding map because both teams are so strong on it. The other one that I'm curious about is going to be Lotus starting off, because that map, the last time KRU played it, that was them getting absolutely torched by evil geniuses. They need to be able to bounce back here against MIBR on that opener.
MIBR has struggled on Lotus as well. They were on a 4-map loss streak to start the year. They got their first win on it just recently, pulling out a new composition, switching over to the Neon for Aspas. This is one of only 2 maps where we're not going to see him locking in that jet. And no surprises, they're sticking to that comp as Kesnet locks the Neon.
Kesnet is actually a Yoru player on this map. So you were talking about Aspas, who has been playing the Neon. But that is immediately a switch up for Kesnet, because he looked tough on the Yoru.
Yeah, that was a rough game against
I think he got 6 frags in the whole map.
He has a lot more freedom on that Neon to mess around and do some crazy stuff with it.
I think it screams to me as well. They want to change up the pace, to be honest, as well, and potentially match what MIBR throwing at them. If, you know, both teams are opting into this like Neon fight as well, you want to be going pound for pound with that. Yoru, it doesn't really help you try and keep up if you're trying to opt into these fights as soon as the barriers are dropped on a map like Lotus. But yeah, it seems like they want to be brawling.
Yeah, to me, like the Yoru skews a little bit more to like the defensive side, for the repositions, take a contact fight, get out. But it can be hard to accelerate, like you're talking about, when it comes to actually start of round aggro, sight hits, these types of things. So it'll be really interesting to see Kesnet on that agent.
And get a little bit more versatility there. We saw Shylock in that Vice, which we talked about earlier on the Sentinels, has been lights out for KRU. Didn't really get a chance to talk a lot about, you know, like Shenum as well in this one, who's been another lights out player for him. And to be fair, I think all 5 players that are all 10 that are on that stage right now are playing incredible.
Okay,
It's Teo.
I thought it was a molly that was being flicked around.
Not yet.
That was a Viper for Shenum, right?
Yes.
Because that's different, because they've been playing single smokes with an Omen and Shenum on that one, Cortesia on the Vise. So it's entirely possible they actually switch off the Vise. If they're playing double smokes, it's kind of hard to actually fit a Vise into the comp.
Yeah, you basically have to go like G2 style and go like a double initiator, double smokes type of comp if you want Aspas to still lock into that Neon. Could do the Raze as well. Kind of doesn't matter, whatever he's feeling on this map.
Yeah, I do think the Viper's pretty interesting, because while you do lose out like the brutal, like oppressive stall power of the Vise, having that wall on the defense side lets you play much more aggressively, I think, into Rubble with an Omen that can just teleport behind it after taking a first fight. And you can, you know, have that second line of defense there.
KRU giving up the Yoru in favor of the Neon does mean if a Vice still gets picked, it'll be a bit of a problem. It's tougher to bait out that wall. But if they are just going full double controller, which looks like is what they're doing, they don't have that limitation. And hard sight execs with the Neon on attack become all the more powerful.
I think the most important factor as well with them not running, you know, like you said, under the Vice as well, running this double smokes comp, you get lurk potential on the attack side.
Yeah,
It gives you pivot options when you're trying to slow play rounds more as well. So you have a bit more nuance added into the comp. You've got to be careful about the flanks, of course, but you can see that that's like probably an element of the game that was missing for MIBR the last time they played on Pearl.
You know Shy's going to cook on those lurks. He's really proactive, working space up B on this map, and gets a lot of freedom compared to even some other Vice players.
This is such a fun map 1, I feel, because it's a map both teams have struggled on in recent games, and it's now 2 comps that are changing. New agents from both sides are coming in with different leads, and now all of a sudden, a lot of your prep that you had coming in is out the window.
And 2 duelists known for the Jet going head-to-head on the Neon to start. It's going to be good.
You love to see it. Well, we got a hell of a series along the way here, so let's go ahead and do it. We got just the casters for the job as well. You got Doug and Baby Bay on the call.
Thank you so much, guys. The lower bracket round 4 rematch from kickoff just a couple of months ago between MIBR and KRU and the states. On it, Toronto is up for grabs. For MIBR in particular, though, you're one victory away from making history for this franchise.
And who better of a player to be the focal point of that than Aspas, the one that who's brought every single team of his over that line. And for KRU, trying to get back to a Masters. The last one they attended was, what, Copenhagen, the desk was talking about. So that's a long time ago.
It is time for the Samsung match start. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs right into the pistol. MIBR is going to be starting on the attacking side. They are currently the league leader in pistol round win rate, and that matters a lot because KRU is really nowhere near that. They're just in the middle of the pack. So we'll see if they're able to continue that success. Additionally, Aspas is just a freak on pistol rounds, currently also the league leader in pistol kills. Control on C.
Shannon also took out Shy on that lurk at A as well, so already a two-pronged approach from MIBR, and they're sitting comfortably on the C site, ready for the flood. This is so decisive, Doug.
Boy, this is a brutal start for KRU. I mean, no questions asked, no hesitation, fully sending C, and it seemed like KRU were not ready for that at all.
This is a scary Aspas, one that has no care in the world for his body. So much talk around this man being a baiter and whatnot, but on this roster, he has shined as an entry, relying on these young rookies that play like veterans, relying on Bruno as well, the new addition. Look at this entry, just finessing around. Melzer has no chance in hell, and that pistol win percentage just continues to go up for MIBR, Doug. What a strong start.
I want to touch on that too, because the last time they played, it went the distance. It went 3 maps. It was 4-2 the way of MIBR, and the maps were close.
Yeah.
So we'll keep a close eye on pistols as the series goes on. KRU here on Nico.
Full A control. Trying to sniff out if there's any type of stack here. That door being broken and tail being spotted prompts the tap of the door and a smoke on stairs. A lot of teams will tend to go through tree against the anti-eco and just death ball up. You don't want to get shot by many different angles here. Aspas again just entering into sight. The flood's going to come through though from stairs.
Paranoia is going to tag on RT, but there is cover. And it wasn't the smoothest of anti-ecos, but MIBR should be able to get through this just fine. Shy left to salvage the scraps of a mess that was made on A. But it seems like MIBR should be able to get up to their second here, and that they will. Of course, Azia cleans it up. MIBR gets to 2. Now KRU are going to be able to respond in kind.
There was an opening there for the kill onto Artsin, who actually ended up sticking that spike. That was kind of interesting, to say the least. I feel like KRU took a long time to, get that kill, but he was completely omen flash. He was breach stunned. He didn't even get off the spike. If he's just going to keep committing like that, if KRU warm up, they're going to one-tap him. That spike never gets planted. Maybe there's more danger behind that. Bonus round here for MIBR. They're sitting really healthy with 4 rifles in play. You have 2 Phantoms, 2 Vandals. And they're running the pistol round back, but Kesnet has something to say about it.
Kesnet has to find success early on for KRU. He struggled.
Chciał w sumie spróbować go po prostu. Aspas jest niedowodniony.
Stat. And still the game was really close, like you were saying. So if Kesnet can even that number, even just a little bit, maybe that's the win condition for KRU, but
if you're KRU here, another win condition is you cannot afford to be losing 2v4s. And so they take a step back, willing to relinquish the site and let MIBR at least get the spike down before they commit to taking the fight. Shut him down to 17 HP. Mazzino on the swing will clean him up, and Verno is left entirely on his own.
We've seen him pull off some ridiculous clutches this year.
Not this time.
Yeah, the bombardment of utility was too much. Shy and Kesnet, the front runners for KRU, defending that C mound area. That pressure was completely obliterated. But now MIBR, they have an Armageddon to work with. That's because of Verno's kills on that anti-eco round.
Take a look at it one one more time. I mentioned it during that round. Kesnet has to find success. And you talked about the head-to-head between Kesnet and Aspas in their previous duel, but remember, Aspas broke the best of 3 kill record the last time these guys played. Put up 82. He was plus 27 or something. 46, excuse me. Plus 46. Kesnet was not nearly as successful. That's a key win condition for KRU.
Yeah.
Fully sending out on a C. The Armageddon invested. They've denied all of that space trade.
Yeah, and the Armageddon got no value. Nobody picked off because of it. So now MIBR, you're going to have to go back, work some of this A control, try to bait out some rotates, hope that KRU leave that C mound area. But if you look at the minimap right now, KRU positioned for this A fight.
Well, I think they understood that they were denying C main right at the beginning, and then they could reinforce the other side of the map. This is a beautiful call from KRU so far.
Yeah. Very common push and pull from the attackers and defenders. But the problem is you're running into Vice utility. And look at Artsine is so low from that chip damage. And look at the screen. Kesnet just took out Aspas. The head-to-head is in his favor right now.
A little apprehension, a little hesitation on where they want to commit to getting the spike down as they test the waters across the middle of the map. Still not confident in their approach.
30 seconds left.
This Vice wall still up for the side of KRU. Kesnet, he wants to go for the slide peek, doesn't even have to. Eliminates Verno.
Mel's are piling it on as well. Ardzine and Shenum again. Another 2v4. KRU into position to put this thing away. Kesnet pops the ult. Quick fingers come out and Shy cleans it up. We're tied.
KRU just manipulating the rotations because of that fortified defense they had towards that C, funneling everybody towards A. And the crossfires that they had at B, yeah, Shenum was able to get a lurk kill onto one of them, but it was traded out quickly. It's a reinvigorated KRU that we're seeing here today. And a confident Kesnet. Trying to make up for some of those woes the last time these two teams faced off. And a lot of the success that KRU had in their Sentinels win on Lotus was their defensive side, completely shutting out Sentinels. It was something that lacked against EG, and I think that's why you see this Viper pick out from MIBR. Superman absolutely obliterated KRU's defense.
Aspas tried doing a bit of the same in kind, but hang on here. MIBR on a shoddy buy. It was pistols and I believe a stinger, but now weapons upgraded. And now all of a sudden MIBR have a window to get back into this.
Kesnet and Shy were the start of this KRU comeback in this half, and now they're going to have to clutch up 2v3 against MIBR. You do have the Vice ultimate in play, but do you invest it?
Early days as silence settles into round 5. The Vice ult popped. Answering your question, Shenum crispy on a Shy. Kesnet left alone, a 1v2. He's gotten it down to 1, but the thrifty comes through for MIBR.
The reason why I was questioning why do you invest the Vice ultimate in that moment was because of the kills that MIBR got in the first place. All sheriffs. Cortezia popping off right here. Beautiful shots. Warming up himself and Shenum getting that.
Podkopki, nie? Przynajmniej nie będę miał tak trudnej, będziemy się wspierało, bo nie będzie tak zachowy, nie? No. Ale okej, XDBK, nie? No, ale XDBK, nie? No.
Done. And MIBR have a chance to further this lead. 4 players on the defensive side to fight for this A control, but it's a B walk now for MIBR.
To wymieniłem, żeby się tak grało, będziemy się tak grało, że mamy pomiędzy śpiewacze jednak wezmą wytypowane, nie? No. Tak pół roku. Ładnie spotkasz tutaj. Sporo kulka. Nie, jakby podkładkę. I wymienimy ślizg klonowy, bo tak Szalony mówił, że tak do pół roku opłaca się wymieniać. I wtedy też sobie domówimy rękę, żeby lepiej mi się grało, nie? No.
Into this round, he's going to be regrouped with Mizzino here.
Possibly, even if he saw them both now. Cortezia understanding the start on the other side, waiting for the reinforcements. And Cortezia stands tall, gets both.
Back-to-back 2Ks. When these rookies on MIBR heat up, it just feels like there's nothing you can do to shut them down. Melzer is left to save, but he's being hunted right now. And this is that tough spot that KRU are going to be put in now. They're not going to have a good economy. Aspas, in the beginning of that B hit, took out Kesnet. We have to keep track of that head-to-head. Both of these players are the pride and joy of their regions.
One enemy.
Kesnet, Hero Vandal in play right now. Melzer, the only other person sitting at a decent arsenal. He's got a Guardian to his name. You do have Reach Ultimate, but when you look at the ult from the other side, MIBR, the odds are against you in every way. Like to change the pace here from KRU, though, trying to go for a trap play. Doesn't look like MIBR is going to be walking into that. It's going to be another anti-eco towards this A side of the map. I think that's just MIBR understanding that, okay, if there is some type of trap here, it is kind of obvious. So we can outplay it.
Drone will pave the way. As they explore towards A, Aspas with the wall up, the dash through. Sight cleared and space found.
What an amazing stun lineup. But Shy still takes out Aspas.
Very nicely done. We've already seen one Thrifty. And this has the makings of another. Still 2 rifles in play for the defense. Again, traded. Our team has his ult, playing far back, fault line not up yet. And he invested the Rolling Thunder, trying to push him back. Verno tries catching a timing and will fall. It's all on the caller and captain for MIBR. He will fall. Another Thrifty, this time for KRU.
Yeah, 1-1 in Thrifty so far. A turn in momentum for KRU, a chance to try to fortify this defensive side. When you think of Lotus, you definitely think it's attack-sided. You need to get as many rounds as you can. Like I was stating earlier, it's the win condition for KRU. Yeah, there's limited sample size, but KRU's success has been off of the back of Kesnet popping off on the defense. Shy has been stepping up huge here today, though.
The pink wall rolling deep in Argentina. Still in a fight here, still just down 1 round. Meanwhile, again, a lot of threat across the middle of the map for KRU.
Trying to go for that trap play again. This time, if there was some pressure towards C, the door would have been cycled open.
Meanwhile, the TP from Cortesia, he has gotten behind enemy lines, and there's nobody back there to have heard where he's gone.
Yeah, there's pings all over the map right now for KRU. They're so worried about where Cortesia is. If Cortesia can get a kick here on a Kesnet, it would be massive for MIBR.
Sending Kesnet himself to go find him. Knife goes out just at the wrong time.
Tap on the door as well. Where do you go? Are the attackers A? Are they C?
I think they've inserted Cortesia here to be the safety valve. Meanwhile, all attention towards A. Oh, pop from Aspas. Shy, waiting patiently for the swing. Finds his one. That's all it is, though. Meanwhile, Melzer taking care of the trap. And now they can refocus their attention out on the site. The Rolling Thunder is going to send everyone sky high. Now the paranoia as well.
Spike not planted either. It's MIBR. They're going to try to get out of here. Try to see if they can make it to a B site, but it's a 3v3 fight right here.
Will they find safe passage? The Viper wall goes up. Goes straight back down, and all the kills coming through. It goes down to 1v1, and Shenum with 3. MIBR with 5.
This is what we're in for. This is how this series will play out. It's going to be a back-and-forth brawl between these two teams. Who is going to show up today? Who wants it more? Who wants to go to Toronto?
The Rolling Thunder was perfect out from the defense. It delayed the plant so much they were forced to try to rotate away. If it wasn't for Shenum popping off in that 3K there on the other side of the wall, I think they lose that round.
100%. But the mechanical skill is what's going to shine here for both of these teams. Who's going to make the clutch play? Who's going to make the right call?
Pace out from KRU towards A. The last couple of rounds, they've been content with just setting up traps across B, like you had mentioned, but they're back to their bellicose ways.
And they want to further this push off of that stealth bot, but
they're committing to this. You're right, that drone is going to catch a whole lot of info. Kesnet stunned up, still gets the kill onto our team.
Nice.
Neither of them can see a thing. Cortesia on the swing, Kesnet with 3 on the round. And that ult is going to hurt. They've got to find their way out. The Sheriff will not stand.
Aspas is moving different today on the Neon. He's so hard to hit, so slippery with his movement.
I think it was that drone across the middle of the map that was the go button for KRU. Once they got that info, they were able to double down and take the fight. This wall might cause a little bit of problems as Shenum is on the other side of it with the spike. It's going to buy a little time for Shy to rotate in.
He's been clutch for KRU all season long.
Tap of the spike. Shenum not committing. Shy taking the scenic route.
Spike planted.
A lot of pressure on his shoulders here. MIBR with the position to create a little separation as Shy tries to find the tiniest of windows, the tiniest of slivers. He's gotten it down to one, and now the ult popped, but Aspas swings ahead of it. 3 for the duelist as MIBR gets 6.
So quick with it. The instant peak, just pure instincts for Aspas. Understanding that he has to take that timing if he wants a chance to win the round.
But also, I think Shy peeking ahead of that too feels like a bit of a misstep there. He knows there's a time window for that ult before it channels.
Jumped the gun too early. I have to say in the beginning of this round, I want to point out the reactive silos from Verno that ended up punishing that KRU push. Had those not been used reactively at the pace that it did, maybe KRU comes out on top in that little scuffle in A main. So KRU will use their first time out, feeling that things are slipping away on their map pick of Lotus. A map where the desk was saying it, Mimi was talking about it. MIBR played multiple comps in that kickoff, playing it 4 times, losing every single time. But with the addition of Verno, they won their last match. You would think that KRU is favored here.
It is KRU that is, Verno, as you're mentioning, that is 9-6, top fragging for MIBR. He's been so good. He's been such an excellent addition to this squad.
He's leveled up what was a full Brazilian roster before this, a Brazilian organization, one of the most notorious in the world.
As far as their org history goes, I agree with you. But holy smokes, they've been a shell of that.
Not in Valorant.
Yeah. I mean, the Death talked about it. Mimi mentioned it. I'm not even going to try to remember the placements. Big story is they were bad, and they were bad for a long time.
Aspas and Fraud. Putting fire into this roster, into this organization in Valorant. Kesnet used the Neon Stun A early on, but it's that trap towards B again. This hasn't really been getting much value. Maybe this was some prep work done from the side of KRU, understanding that last time MIBR played this map, they like to do a lot of E-walks, but that hasn't been the case this time around. It looks like MIBR has anteed themselves.
The drone mid to catch any rotations. They will tuck and remain concealed.
Yeah, it doesn't spot anybody, and here's the power of the double controller. It allows you to freeze in these moments and really put doubt in the defensive line. KRU, they're holding on tight though. They haven't moved their formation whatsoever. But now the Omen ult's invested towards C-Mount. This walk-up is surely going to get punished. Oh my gosh, they're going way off the stealth bot. But it doesn't matter.
Kesnet dropping 2 there.
Yeah.
And now the barrage of utility becomes a problem. MIBR down numbers.
30 seconds left.
Need to find a way to convert here. Kesnet's ult is the only one in play. No late lurk through stairs. They're fully committing out onto the side, and Kesnet right on time. Artsy clean with it as Aspas down in hell drags him down with them. They're falling apart. Picked at the seams. And the spike dominated Verno with ult. He's going to get flashed. He's got to find safety. He's got to find cover. And Shy's there to greet him.
It was not pretty, but KRU, they get over the edge and they secure the 5v3 that they had in the beginning of the round. It's like Melzer has something to say about that. That paranoia was perfect onto Verno. Verno was getting completely crunched at that moment. I was wondering if Verno was going to invest that Armageddon after those couple of picks, but the flood, it was just too quick for him to find that window of opportunity, and both rookies getting taken out like that from Kesnet at front B put MIBR in such a rough spot. They almost bring it back. But the damage was already done. Now, MIBR's economy not looking too hot. That's why Kesnet is buying the Outlaw into this round. He's not going to have to face the main pack of MIBR. We've seen Aspas run it down at C-Mount multiple rounds. This is going to be another one of them.
Outlaw on the other side of the map, but they have inserted Melser. That one way just causes so many problems. It delays so much. You're going to try to brute force your way through it, and so far, so good.
Can do no wrong with the Sheriff, apparently.
Shots be forced to take a step back. And funneled all the way back into spawn. Not even given the opportunity to get into water. Now the question is here for MIBR, how far up do they scale? Oh, he was flashed, you didn't see a thing. Viper's Pit, Armageddon, everything dropped just to buy a little bit of space, just to buy a brief moment of respite. But now they're going to have to try to find a way to navigate all of the pit, all of the goo. Cortezia staying alive, staying concealed. Verno going to be on a late flank. If he can find the right timing. Meanwhile, KRU, the onus is on you. You've got to go. Kesnet slides into his death. As this feels like it's falling apart. A 5v3. They're cutting their losses. They're out.
Yeah, you have to get out of there. That Viper's Pit is too strong. You have to kind of spray and pray through that smoke to hope that you land on Shenum in that moment, but the way that Verno used his Armageddon to secure that space, to secure the spike to be planted, it just made it way too impossible to retake into. By that time, Shenum had already positioned to a spot where he can't get spammed. Players can play in front of it for him. All he needs to do is live. We gotta give props to Cortezia with this Sheriff, man. If he doesn't get that entry, this C-site isn't as free as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of big moments so far. He's not, oh, he is top fragging, never mind.
Yeah.
He's doing it all.
11 and 7 for him. So MIBR quickly answer back off of that lineup kill that Kesnet got.
We haven't seen this in a little while, this clash in A main. Both teams strength against strength. Cortezia sitting on the sidelines for the rest of this half.
Both Omens taken out.
Spike down A.
Aspas pops his ult too.
Kesnet somehow secured another. That's the breach. Ultimate gone now for MIBR.
Oh, and how they would have liked to have had that here. Last round of the half.
Use front B to get info if anyone's close door. So that dread isn't need to be checked yet.
That wall kept him concealed.
KRU are ready for any type of push that's going to happen here. They're willing to give all that space up, and Kesnet is picking up 3 into this round, but now A site is open. And look at where the spike is headed right now.
Can he do it again? Can Aspas hold the line for MIBR? A couple of shots.
But he lives.
Not finding their mark. But you're right, life preserved. And now their rotation in play.
Aspas is going to have another attempt to even the score here, but footsteps are being heard.
He's trying to cut off the rotations. Be the dam that's keeping KRU back from flooding out onto the site. All of that Vice utility now invested. Gonna tag, oh, 1. I believe it was gonna tag 2 either way. MIBR in a position to take an 8-4 half. Can they convert this? Verno has gotten it much closer. He's got 2 on the round. He gets them all himself. MIBR in 8-4 half.
Let's go, Aspas.
Verno and Aspas stepping up to win a 2v4 to close out that half.
Bravo.
The silos were used to perfection, making everybody flood out. And yeah, Aspas couldn't settle on the top site player, but it gave enough confidence for Verno to secure some of these shots. Kesnet couldn't connect in that moment, although we already had 3 into that round.
Come on, bro.
Verno's having such a banger of a game.
Come on,
12 and 7.
Putting up for sure, but I mean the supporting cast has been non-existent.
Now you have to deal with a breach of Viper towards this C side of the map, a tap of the door to push off anybody front B. So far, so good. Melzer snuck through, though.
Now getting flushed out by the shallows. It's a little messy, but should be able to convert because who else? But Aspas and Verno arriving at the scene.
Ładnie. Ale że oni słyszą tego, jak on tu czysta bez smoka, to było dziwne.
From Melzer were massive right there. Had he gotten 2, maybe there's a thrifty on the cards, but Not today for MIBR. Aspas and Verno are competing for that top spot right now. Artson getting two there is so fortunate. He was breach stunned. He had an omen behind him. MIBR survived the anti-eco and further the lead. 3 rounds away from a map win, a map stolen from KRU. And the bonus is a C push. Shy needs to be careful.
That paranoia is going to cause problems too. Oh, surely you turn around!
It doesn't matter because Verno's there to save you.
Those two have lived many, many lives just in these last couple of rounds.
Unbelievable duo in the server right now, and all of KRU are going to get smothered from every side of this retake, but Kesnet has something to say about it.
4v4, it's just a sheriff in the hands of Shenum. You talked about how good he's been with that weapon. Starting to take a few bold steps forward. You've got so much utility separating the two, but it's thin. Aspas down to 17 HP. Burnham and Shenum close by. They're going to force him into that fight. He's going to find his one. Still outnumbered, still outgunned. KRU gets a 5.
Adverso stepping up huge, securing that Armageddon for himself in this moment. KRU, we're put in a tough spot right there, but who other than Kesnet to take you out of it? Getting that kill onto Artson, that breach utility gone for the actual retake. Could have been huge for MIBR. And now, the economy not looking too pretty for MIBR. You have 4 players on light armor. Aspas, he's going to get active here at C again. Back-to-back rounds where he's pushing all the way through. He's going to use that Neon ultimate.
There's a lot more behind this time, though. It's not just Shy. They find all of the space, and he tucks.
Yeah, they weathered that storm.
But the little things that they do so well, even having that tiny little pocket that Aspas knows he can play in. Everything is so drilled. Everything is so good for MIBR.
KRU's reactions on that C aggression were done very well.
But they didn't take much on the other side of the map.
But now Aspas, he only has a stinger, so not allowing that Neon ultimate to further get kills. And that punish on Inferno leads to an open C site. So a good re-hit onto C, understanding that most teams like to give that space once a lot of utility and aggression has been shown. For MIBR now, how do you retake? You can't really delay the plant anymore with
Spike planted.
Inferno being dropped. It's going to be left all up to Artson's utility to find a path in. Contact it out. Great opener.
Zeno falling. This retake attempt has some teeth behind it. Kesnet is now down.
You gotta tap, and you gotta tap now, man.
Yeah, you gotta get that ult out. You're absolutely right. And so it'll buy a little bit of time. But there's got to be a second layer to this. MIBR are going to take the fight on the other side of the smoke. And KRU hold the line.
Such a difficult retake. And MIBR, they kind of get baited to go for it after they get 2 picks on the actual site. But there's just no way you're winning that with the silos coming back up for Adverso and the Armageddon being used. Based off of those 2 key abilities, you can't really retake anyway. So maybe after getting those 2 picks for MIBR, you just save at that point. But you still got to tap the spike, bait out the Armageddon.
What?
Yeah, that's a ridiculous shot. Through the wall, too.
It's smaller than the crosshair.
You can't even see him. Sharp shots from Shy, though. A nice round win from KRU. They dealt with that C aggression very well. Now they're changing the pace. They're taking A control for themselves. This is something that we saw MIBR do quite a bit as well on their anti-ecos. Take this A space, but 4 members here for MIBR. 2 players in tree. Aspas, Hero Vandal. Baits out a lot of that spam, but that audio cue should make it obvious that he's now not in any close corners. Another tap of the door, trying to see if there's more oomph behind this stack of MIBR. But wisely so, no one from the defender's side showing any type of utility. Just now, an Omen Smoke being used front B.
Kesnet looking to test things A alongside the rest of crew, but yeah, I can't imagine they're going to be flirting with that area of the map anytime soon. Not after that.
Art with the Bucky might be as good as Aspas and Verno as a duo.
So they turn their attention over to B. Note, Artine has his ult. And there it is, right on cue. The Rolling Thunder will collide into the members of crew. Aspas dashing out, besting Kesnet. With 19 HP, he's going to push forward again. How does he get away with this? Health be damned. The bloodlust is so strong. Mazzino falls.
I thought certainly crew in that post plant were going to be able to convert, but that breach all connected on way too many players. Shy, he had both of those razor vines set up on the actual B site, like he was on the defensive side, but it didn't matter. Aspas finds a way to make it work with the supporting cast that he has, the utility to get him into these awkward spots. Crew are left to use their last time out here. A desperate attempt to save their map pick. With the thrifty round win again for MIBR, it kind of feels like the nail in the coffin at this point.
It's going to take a lot for them to get back into this, I agree.
All you really have to work off of is Shy's ultimate, have Ice ult. This is a must-win round if you want any hopes of bringing this one back.
I mean, again, Kesnet and Shy have pulled their own weight. They pulled, I mean, more than enough of their own weight. It's just been the supporting cast for crew. Aversa, Mazzino, and Melser are struggling.
I thought for a second after Adverso got that 3K on the post plant earlier in the half that maybe he would get something going for himself. Maybe he could be the leader to step up for this crew team, make it competitive.
The crew trying to will them back into this map. A map that was theirs. They chose this setting. They chose this arena, and they find themselves getting bullied. But the opportunity to right all of those wrongs right here. Can they convert a Thrifty?
Can they take out Aspas? All utility missing.
Only finds his one.
Great boss down. Adverso, the leader that needed to step up. He does just so, and now Shy finds alert timing, so there's no speed up at C. We can go back. Shenum on that rotate was so loud with it. But he might be able to slip through and still get value. Our crew gonna be aware of this. Now they will be.
Now. Well, you're just speeding up. Still knife out.
Spike down.
Shenum gets one, gets away.
They still don't know about Shy though.
Now they know. Shenum falls. The side is theirs.
It's not free. Verno is still alive.
Bullet between his eyes. RC left in a 1v3.
There's not really much you can work with here if you're Art, but that is a ridiculous shot. All of a sudden, maybe you can creep on by, reposition here. That fault line makes it obvious that you're leaning towards stairs. And Breach, these flashes aren't the best for himself.
I don't think that was obvious at all. I think they were concerned about it coming heaven. That's why they were looking there as long as they have enough, giving him a window to get up. He gets it down to one. And of course, it's the safe and steady hands of Shy that saved the round for crew.
That's the perfect word for it. Completely saving crew. Adverso. He did a phenomenal job getting those entries. The trade onto Aspas, the follow-up. Shy taking out Verno before he could pull off any of those timings that we see him get so many fruit for. That was the difference maker, and he still has his ultimate in play. Crew, they're sitting really healthy here, but how do you deal with this operator of Aspas? And he's not playing aggressive with it, he's playing passive on C site.
Yeah, first time we've seen that, if I'm not mistaken. They know it's there now.
Yeah, Aspas took a pop shot, couldn't connect onto Kesnet. Good movement.
Oh, but I mean, you look at the minimap, that shot sent a shiver down their spines. They rotate all the way away.
zajęli i czekam teraz na holding.
Wanting to deal with that Viper threat.
This again,
Bo
this time
o,
utility
co
out.
Fezja robi? Kontroluje.
Cortezia misses his window and now the pressure's on him.
Nic
On the
nie
swing
wygrali.
again, 70
Żartowałem,
HP and
jednak
he
wygrałem.
stands
Bo
tall,
Fezja jednak kontroluje.
refusing to
Jednak
relent.
w tym minucie. Open.
Crew have to crawl back into this.
Pokaż im.
You have to try to get a pick, but Art has something to say
Pokaż im.
about these players walking through
Aspas.
tree.
Rolling Thunder will try to find them a little bit of a window. Shy on the counter punch. Into a 3v2 and now the ult is a problem.
If you look at your mini map as well, there's a late flank coming through.
It's
gonna be obvious now.
Przegrać to.
He's gonna wait it out and the shorty connects onto Mazzino. Shy again.
2 na 1, otoczony.
Called upon
Czyli
to save crew once more. 22 and 11 so far. Flushed out by the salvos, forced to take a step back. 56 HP. Can he find his ones?
Dafaj to.
He was given a chance at it. Now they're beckoning him to take the swing, forced to take the fight. They double swing into it and Shenum wins out the 1v1 and gets a defuse.
One sidestep being the difference maker. If Shedham doesn't take an extra step to the right, Shy connects on a collat. Such a micro decision to be made. And it's the difference maker. What was this from Cortezia?
Again, all of that was off of the rotate from the op. We hadn't seen the op the entire game. Aspas draws it out there. It forces the rotations back into A. It was a beautiful call. It was an excellent decision at the beginning of the round.
Match
Again,
point.
A ball A. And you're right, match point. There's a TP into Swan again. This time from Melser.
Zeno taking things into his own hands, the only player that walked through tree with his utility.
Our team was never going to win that. He had a judge.
Yeah. Melser gets tagged up, but still delaying so much time for this retake to come through. It's a free A site. And I think you just save right now if you're MIBR. Keep these 3 rifles because of the last round going down to a 1v1. The economy was in shambles. Artsine only has a judge. That Omen TP now works for both sides. The crew returning the favor. And
take a look at the money for crew. They don't want to hunt, and I get it.
And just to talk about why crew wanted to rotate so heavily off of seeing Aspas as off, the last time these two teams faced off, Aspas was a menace with that operator. Think back to map 3 of Split, where he just completely took over overtime. Getting multiple picks. It's not a player you want to run through. So for MIBR now, when do you decide to take your time out? Settle the nerves. Close out this map pick. Maybe try to enable these players of crew to walk into the operator of Aspas. Feint some aggression. Or maybe cycle the op onto somebody else.
Maybe. I mean, it's only been 1 round they've lost. I can't imagine they call a timeout here. But I do wonder what the setup is to put Aspas in a position to cause some problems. It does not seem like that's the case. They've left him on an island B this round.
But Artsin's in tree again with a bucket. I feel like this is a story that we've seen so many times before, but it's actually Verno punishing a aggressive teleport from Melser.
Again, fancy footwork from the drone. Verno not getting a tag.
And now without your smokes being online, you're kind of forced to have to press the issue. This is where the operator can come online. It's a dream scenario to close out a map for MIBR.
They're going to get challenged again. Aspas and Verno standing side by side. Can they do it once more? Aspas is the first to strike. Verno gets flushed out, and Aspas is left to die. No ults for the defense. And a Bucky in the hands of Artine.
A lot of utility from both sides, though. Everything in favor for MIBR, but the advantage being in the post line is you get to go second for crew.
Yeah. Reverso trying to find some space behind that utility. And it is going to be Cortezia on the swing. And they get all of the kills they need. Shy's going to have to 1v4 to keep this alive. And boy, he gave it a run. It was just not enough. MIBR steal away Crew's map pick.
Any other player in that moment gets overwhelmed by that utility in heaven, but Cortezia is so fast, he's so sharp, that he connects onto that kill, and it felt like MIBR were in the driver's seat this entire map.
I believe at one point the score was, what, 10-4?
Yeah.
I mean, they built a pretty big gap. A lot of it was, again, off of both of those pistols. You have an 8-4 half, you win the pistol again. It's hard to come back from that.
Also, when you're not winning these clutch moments, I mean, how many times did Verno and Aspas get put in a man-down situation and convert? It's tough when you're losing both pistols and losing the micro like that. I think Crew maneuvered around the map very well. I think their game plan was solid on the attacking side, but the defense of MIBR was too strong at the end of the day.
Now let me wet everyone's whistle as we think about the next map. It's Aspas, a map that neither team has lost. 4-0 for MIBR.
Here with the coach of MIBR, Fraud. You came out here, you were smiling, but you've said you feel confident in your next out. And we're going to your map pick. What's the plan?
Just stick to our game plan that's been working for us all season and all playoffs. So really just focus on ourselves and adapt to where we need to depending on how they play.
All right, well, best of luck. Bring it home.
That was a very general answer from Frod overall, to be honest. But for MIBR, they have been dominant all stage, and there's been a clear reason, I think, for it. They've been playing heavy emphasis on the pistol rounds, and specifically anti-stratting team setup. And you can see I've kind of detailed that down here as to what the plan was for Lotus on the opening pistol round. They want to spot out Melzer, and they know that Crew with the defensive setups, they run an isolated player, usually on the C site. They want to run him down, and they want to leave Shaynum as well with the Sheriff Purchase as his late-stage backstab. So I'll clear the screen, I'll zoom in, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Crew normally not going to be playing too many players over towards C, usually just going to be Melzer. I'll play this one out. It is rapid. They run down Melzer to such a high degree, they don't let him set up, they don't let any sort of backup arrive whatsoever, and Shaynum's going to be trying to play it nice and slow at the same time. Aspas is happy to take this first engagement. He gets the first pick for them. He knows it's going to be a 1v1 because of that prior preparation that they have put in, and Shaynum just leads him with a backstab as well. That Sheriff from long range able to get that kill when the rotates are coming through rapidly. So this is an opening pistol round that MIBR have just dissected Crew's defensive setup on, and Crew do alternate it. They don't always just run one player here. It was a bit of a gamble on the part of MIBR to a degree, but it works out massively in their favor to just completely seal up this pistol round. You notice in that map that we just watched, they won both pistol rounds. Against 100 Thieves, it's the exact same situation occurring as well, trying to isolate and locate where the weakest part of the defensive setup were for these teams to really try and snowball these advantages and keep it back going. I'm going to send it back over to the desk as well to keep talking about this series further, but MIBR are just looking large and in charge.
That is true, Brand, and very
season. And one very quick thing I want to set the stage for is, again, the pistols. They matter tremendously in this series. MIBR was able to take the first in the opening half of Lotus. We'll see if they can do the same here, Dre.
Yeah, if they want to secure this comfortably, they definitely need to get this win on pistol. And for Crew, if you want any hopes of keeping your map alive, you have to answer back. But this is where Crew struggled against EG. Their attacking side couldn't win pistol. What a great start from Kesnet, though, getting that pick on a Shen in front of me.
Kesnet has to get online. He has to find success. He's been steady for Crew so far. And still in play. A quick rotate to the A side of the map. Verno doing a little spotting with the drone. He got the info. And then the jump spot to confirm. Meanwhile, you take a look at the minimap. Our team's going to be on this late flank. Acceleration towards A.
Jest przyjęcie.
4 out of 5 members out on the site. Meanwhile, it's going to be Cortezia trying to deal this last fight with Mazzino. They've gotten the walls closing in. They've got him corralled. They've got him controlled. Can they fight their way out of this mess? Cortezia trying to hold the line. He's going to find his one. Aspas, though, getting his two. A 2v2 as he dashes across again. The kill leader in pistols. Dealing more damage onto Crew.
Verno and
30
Aspas.
seconds left.
Remember how good they were to close out the last half.
They're taking their time in this approach as well. They don't want to run through this smoke. Get face for free. It's a double swing.
They're gonna get them both again. They are. Aspas with 3. Verno gets 1. Another pistol for MIBR.
I thought KRU approached this round very well, being up numbers, not having to deal with that Viper wall going up to delay them when they go back to A. All the members flooded into tree, got onto the site, and when the utility was used to delay the plant, they got out. They were all alive, unscathed. But the mechanical skill of MIBR is at a different level right now. It's unmatched in the server currently. Pesnet and Shy are the only ones sitting at double digits for KRU. They're the only ones shooting back, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, they're matching the skill that MIBR are putting up for sure, but, I mean, the supporting cast has been non-existent.
Now you have to deal with a breach of Viper towards the C side of the map, a tap of the door to push off anybody front B. So far, so good. Melzer snuck through, though.
Now getting punched out by the shallows. It's a little messy, but should be able to convert because who else? But Aspas and Verno arriving at the scene.
Ładnie. Ale że on nie słyszał tego, jak on tu czteką do smoka, to było dziwne.
From Melzer were massive right there. Had he gotten 2, maybe there's a thrifty on the cards, but not today for MIBR. Aspas and Verno are competing for that top spot right now. Artson getting 2 there is so fortunate. He was breach stunned. He had an omen behind him. MIBR survived the anti-eco and further the lead. 3 rounds away from a map win, a map stolen from KRU. And the bonus is a C push. Shy needs to be careful.
That paranoia is going to cause problems too. Oh, surely you turn around!
It doesn't matter because Verno's there to save you.
Brawo, Verno.
Those 2 have lived many lives just in these last couple of rounds.
Unbelievable duo in the server right now, and all of KRU are going to get smothered from every side of this retake, but Kesnet has something to say about it.
4v4, it's just a sheriff in the hands of Shenum. You talked about how good he's been with that weapon. Starting to take a few bold steps forward. You've got so much utility separating the 2, but it's thin. Aspas down to 17 HP. Burnham and Shenum close by. They're going to force him into that fight. He's going to find his 1. Still outnumbered, still outgunned. KRU gets a 5.
And Verso stepping up huge, securing that Armageddon for himself in this moment. KRU, we're put in a tough spot right there, but who other than Kesnet to take you out of it? Getting that kill onto Artson, that breach utility gone for the actual retake. Could have been huge for MIBR. And now, the economy not looking too pretty for MIBR. You have 4 players on light armor. Aspas, he's going to get active here at C again. Back-to-back rounds where he's pushing all the way through. He's going to use that Neon ultimate.
There's a lot more behind this time, though. It's not just Shy. They find all of the space, and he tucks.
Yeah, they weathered that storm.
But the little things that they do so well, even having that tiny little pocket that Aspas knows he can play in. Everything is so drilled. Everything is so good for MIBR.
KRU's reactions on that C aggression were done very well.
But they didn't take much on the other side of the map.
Now Aspas, he only has a stinger, so not allowing that Neon ultimate to further get kills, and that punish on Verno leads to an open C site, so a good re-hit onto C, understanding that most teams like to give that space once a lot of utility and aggression has been shown. For MIBR now, how do you retake? You can't really delay the plant anymore with
Spike planted.
Verno being dropped. It's going to be left all up to Artson's utility to find a path in. Contact it out. Great opener.
Zeno falling. This retake attempt has some teeth behind it. Kesnet is now down.
You gotta tap, and you gotta tap now, man.
Yeah, you gotta get that ult out. You're absolutely right. And so it'll buy a little bit of time. But there's got to be a second layer to this. MIBR are going to take the fight on the other side of the smoke. And KRU hold the line.
such a difficult retake, and MIBR, they kind of get baited to go for it after they get 2 picks on the actual site. But there's just no way you're winning that with the silos coming back up for Adverso and the Armageddon being used. Based off of those 2 key abilities, you can't really retake anyway. So maybe after getting those 2 picks for MIBR, you just save at that point. But you still got to tap the spike, bait out the Armageddon.
What?
Yeah, that's a ridiculous shot. Through the wall, too.
It's smaller than the crosshair.
You can't even see him. Sharp shots from Shy, though. A nice round win from KRU. They dealt with that C aggression very well. Now they're changing the pace. They're taking A control for themselves. This is something that we saw MIBR do quite a bit as well on their anti-ecos. Take this A space, but 4 members here for MIBR. 2 players in tree. Aspas, Hero Vandal. Baits out a lot of that spam, but that audio cue should make it obvious that he's now not in any close corners. Another tap of the door, trying to see if there's more oomph behind this stack of MIBR. But wisely so, no one from the defender's side showing any type of utility. Just now, Omen Smoke being used front B.
Kesnit looking to test things A alongside the rest of KRU, but yeah, I can't imagine they're going to be flirting with that area of the map anytime soon. Not after that.
Art with the Bucky might be as good as Aspas and Burno as a duo.
So they turn their attention over to B. Note, Artine has his ult. And there it is, right on cue. The Rolling Thunder will collide into the members of KRU. Aspas dashing out, besting Kesnit. With 19 HP, he's going to push forward again. How does he get away with this? Health be damned. The bloodlust is so strong. Mazzino falls.
I thought certainly KRU in that post plant were going to be able to convert, but that breach all connected on way too many players. Shy, he had both of those razor vines set up on the actual B site, like he was on the defensive side, but it didn't matter. Aspas finds a way to make it work with the supporting cast that he has, the utility to get him into these awkward spots. KRU are left to use their last time out here. A desperate attempt to save their map pick. But the thrifty round win again for MIBR. It kind of feels like the nail in the coffin at this point.
It's going to take a lot for them to get back into this, I agree.
All you really have to work off of is Shy's ultimate. Have Ice ult. This is a must-win round if you want any hopes of bringing this one back.
I mean, again, Kesnit and Shy have pulled their own weight. They pulled, I mean, more than enough of their own weight. It's just been the supporting cast for KRU. Adverso, Mazzino, and Melser are struggling.
I thought for a second after Adverso got that 3K on the post plant earlier in the half that maybe he would get something going for himself. Maybe he could be the leader to step up for this KRU team, make it competitive.
The KRU trying to will them back into this map. A map that was theirs. They chose this setting. They chose this arena, and they find themselves getting bullied. But the opportunity to right all of those wrongs right here. Can they convert a thrifty?
Can they take out Aspas? All utility missing.
Only finds his one.
Great boss down. Adverso, the leader that needed to step up. He does just so, and now Shy finds alert timing, so there's no speed up at C. We can go back. Shenum on that rotate was so loud with it. But he might be able to slip through and still get value. Are KRU gonna be aware of this? Now they will be.
No, now. Well, you're just speeding up. Still knife out.
Spike down.
Shenum gets one, gets away.
They still don't know about Shy though.
Now they know. Shenum falls. The side is theirs.
It's not free. Burno is still alive.
Bullet between his eyes. RC left in a 1v3.
It's
not really much you can work with here if you're Art, but that is a ridiculous shot. All of a sudden, maybe you can creep on by, reposition here. That fault line makes it obvious that you're leaning towards stairs. And Breach, these flashes aren't the best for himself.
I don't think that was obvious at all. I think they were concerned about it coming heaven. That's why they were looking there as long as they had enough, giving him a window to get up. He gets it down to 1. And of course, it's the safe and steady hands of Shy that saved the round for KRU.
That's the perfect word for it. Completely saving KRU. Adverso, he did a phenomenal job getting those entries. The trade onto Aspas, the follow-up. Shy taking out Verno before he could pull off any of those timings that we see him get so many fruit for. That was the difference maker, and he still has his ultimate in play. KRU, they're sitting really healthy here, but how do you deal with this operator of Aspas? And he's not playing aggressive with it, he's playing passive on C site.
Yeah, first time we've seen that, if I'm not mistaken. They know it's there now.
Yeah, Aspas took a pop shot, couldn't connect onto Kesnet. Good movement.
Oh, but I mean, you look at the mini-map, that shot sent a shiver down their spines. They rotate all the way away.
Zajęli, czekam teraz na holding.
Wanting to deal with that Viper threat.
This time utility out.
Kontroluje.
Cortezia misses his window, and now the pressure's on him. On the swing, again, 70 HP, and he stands tall. Refusing to relent.
KRU have to crawl back into this. You have to try to get a pick, but Art has something to say about these players walking through tree.
Rolling Thunder will try to find them a little bit of a window. Shy on the counter punch. Into a 3v2, and now the ult is a problem.
If you look at your mini-map as well, there's a late flank coming through. It's going to be obvious now.
He's going to wait it out, and the shorty connects onto Mazzino. Shy, again. Called upon to save KRU once more. 22 and 11 so far. Flushed out by the salvos, forced to take a step back. 56 HP, can he find his ones? He was given a chance at it, now they're beckoning him to take the swing, forced to take the fight. They double swing into it, and Shenum wins out the 1v1 and gets a defuse.
One sidestep being the difference maker. If Shenum doesn't take an extra step to the right, Shy connects on a collat. Such a micro decision to be made. And it's the difference maker. What was this from Cortezia?
Again, all of that was off of the rotate from the op. We hadn't seen the op the entire game. Aspas draws it out there. It forces the rotations back into A. It was a beautiful call. It was an excellent decision at the beginning of the round. Again, a brawl A. And you're right, match point. There's a TP into Swan again. This time from Melser.
Zeno taking things into his own hands, the only player that walked through tree with his utility.
Our team was never going to win that. He had a judge.
Yeah. Melser gets tagged up, but still delaying so much time for this retake to come through. It's a free A site. And I think you just save right now if you're MIBR. Keep these 3 rifles. Because of the last round going down to a 1v1, the economy was in shambles. Artzine only has a judge. That Omen TP now works for both sides. The KRU returning the favor. And
take a look at the money for KRU. They don't want to hunt, and I get it.
And just to talk about why KRU wanted to rotate so heavily off of seeing Aspas as op, the last time these two teams faced off, Aspas was a menace with that operator. Think back to map 3 of Split, where he just completely took over overtime. Getting multiple picks. It's not a player you want to run through. So for MIBR now, when do you decide to take your time out? Settle the nerves. Close out this map pick. Maybe try to enable these players of KRU to walk into the operator of Aspas. Feint some aggression. Or maybe cycle the op onto somebody else.
Maybe. I mean, it's only been one round they've lost. I can't imagine they call a timeout here. But I do wonder what the setup is to put Aspas in a position to cause some problems. It does not seem like that's the case. They've left him on an island B this round.
Oh, but Artsin's in tree again with a bucket. I feel like this is a story that we've seen so many times before, but it's actually Verno punishing a aggressive teleport from Melzer.
Again, fancy footwork from the drone. Verno not getting a tag.
And now without your smokes being online, you're kind of forced to have to press the issue. This is where the operator can come online. It's a dream scenario to close out a map for MIBR.
They're going to get challenged again. Aspas and Verno standing side by side. Can they do it once more? Aspas is the first to strike. Verno gets flushed out, and Aspas is left to die. No ults for the defense. And a Bucky in the hands of Artin.
A lot of utility from both sides, though. Everything in favor for MIBR, but the advantage of being in the post lane is you get to go second for crew.
Yeah. Reverso trying to find some space behind that utility. And it is going to be Cortezio on the swing. And they get all of the kills they need. Shy's going to have to 1v4 to keep this alive. And boy, he gave it a run. It was just not enough. MIBR steal away Crew's map pick.
Any other player in that moment gets overwhelmed by that utility in heaven, but Cortezia is so fast, he's so sharp, that he connects onto that kill, and it felt like MIBR were in the driver's seat this entire map.
I believe at one point the score was, what, 10-4?
Yeah.
I mean, they built a pretty big gap. A lot of it was, again, off of both of those pistols. You have an 8-4 half, you win the pistol again. It's hard to come back from that.
Also, when you're not winning these clutch moments, I mean, how many times did Verno and Aspas get put in a man-down situation and convert? It's tough when you're losing both pistols and losing the micro like that. I think Crew maneuvered around the map very well. I think their game plan was solid on the attacking side, but the defense of MIBR was too strong at the end of the day.
Now let me wet everyone's whistle as we think about the next map. It's Icebox, a map that neither team has lost. 4-0 for MIBR, 3-0 for Crew. We'll see what happens on the other side of the break.
Gives you wings.
the coach of MIBR, Fraud. You came out here, you were smiling, but you've said you feel confident in your next out. And we're going to your map pick. What's the plan?
Just stick to our game plan that's been working for us all season and all playoffs. So really just focus on ourselves and adapt to where we need to depending on how they play.
All right, well, best of luck. Bring it home.
That was a very general answer from Fraud overall, to be honest. But for MIBR, they have been dominant all stage, and there's been a clear reason, I think, for it. They've been playing heavy emphasis on the pistol rounds, and specifically anti-stratting team setup. And you can see I've kind of detailed that down here as to what the plan was for Lotus on the opening pistol round. They want to spot out Melzer, and they know that Crew with the defensive setups, they run an isolated player, usually on the C site. They want to run him down, and they want to leave Shaynum as well with the Sheriff Purchase as his late-stage backstab. So I'll clear the screen, I'll zoom in, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Crew normally not going to be playing too many players over towards C, usually just going to be Melzer. I'll play this one out. It is rapid. They run down Melzer to such a high degree, they don't let him set up, they don't let any sort of backup arrive whatsoever, and Shaynum's going to be trying to play it nice and slow at the same time. Aspas is happy to take this first engagement. He gets the first pick for them. He knows it's going to be a 1v1 because of that prior preparation that they have put in, and Shaynum just leads him with a backstab as well. That Sheriff from long range able to get that kill when the rotates are coming through rapidly. So this is an opening pistol round that MIBR have just dissected Crew's defensive setup on, and Crew do alternate it. They don't always just run one player here. It was a bit of a gamble on the part of MIBR to a degree, but it works out massively in their favor to just completely seal up this pistol round. You notice in that map that we just watched, they won both pistol rounds against 100 Thieves at the exact